Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Coast to coast college football.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going to go out of there.
The sickest college football podcast.
There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards.
It's going to be sick.
That's right.
That's right.
It's the Sick Podcast, Coast to Coast College Football Show. I'm John Lund, the East Coast side. He's Dan Lynch, the West Coast transplant. We are here at Week 8, the halfway point. Get excited. Catch the fever. First off, I know you're blurred in the background.
Yeah.
Watching us on YouTube, but I want to give listeners and viewers, this is the best background you've ever had for the show so far. Like, this is truly the West Coast, like, beautiful. You could click this in the options settings if people want to like have that fake background behind them. So I'm glad that we're doing that for this week's show. It's nice. It's cool.
I'm trying to unblur it. Let me see if I could do that. I'm in a beautiful Dana Point, California for this show today.
Very nice.
AKA Laguna Beach, to all our Canadian listeners up north who have watched that show on MTV. Doing the show from here today is absolutely gorgeous. Going to go on a little strand walk after this. I mean, this is why I moved here, man. Like, it's pretty amazing.
Finally paying off after 5+ years or however long it's been. We did it.
Yeah. But John, you brought up the midpoint of the season, and all week long, like, I flashed back to being a student and being like, oh, midterm grades. Have you ever hit a report card or a midterm grade from your parents?
Yeah, and I never had bad grades, which is the fun part. Like,
That's Catholic school for you.
We got our report card back before Christmas break, and I didn't do well on one class, which obviously has impacted my life severely at 35 years old. It was definitely as important then as it still is now. But I remember my mother saying, like, oh, we won't tell your father till after we don't want to ruin the holiday. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The way that boomers parented for some things in life is hysterical. And hopefully normal millennial folks can change that for our children and next generations to come. Like, if I got a C in a class, Santa wouldn't have come that particular Christmas because, well, you can't fail math or else. Clearly,
get a C.
Yeah.
I guess the millennials or the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they can't get away with that because it would get sent in the mail. So, like, you would have to be your parents' home to get it. Unless your
now
parents,
it's just, I think it's just like on the portal. Everybody knows.
You're screwed no matter what.
They can't get away with a lot of stuff. But granted, they're also using a fake robot to write their papers and present their homework. So there's a balancing act there for how important it is to actually learn. I always see, too, on Facebook, which you go on just to see whose birthday it is in today's 2025 was a little bit different when we were in college. Fall break. You just got to school. You're already going on fall break for 2 weeks. Man, they used to throw skip days at us, fall breaks. We had spring break at the U. We had winter break. We wouldn't go back to class. We'd pretty much have all of January off for our break. And man, it was good times.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, we graduated earlier in May. Okay. It's 90 degrees outside. You're telling me I get an extra weekend to go drink? I'll be all right.
Take it.
Anyway, people are wondering, what the hell are you talking about? This is a college football show. The news. Ding dong, the witch is dead for many on the East Coast, finally.
Yeah, man.
We've been coming after James Franklin for seemingly a decade, it feels like, as the Penn State head coach, even though he hasn't been there for plus a decade, too much time. They finally decided to pull the plug after another just disastrous loss. I guess you could afford one disastrous loss a season, but when you're just starting to back them up in consecutive weeks, this was enough for them to say, listen, however much money we have to pay, we'll do it. We have to make this happen. The buyout number looks glorious on paper, around that 50 million mark, which is also nice. But then you find out there's little contingencies like, well, you have to like look for a job. And if you do find another one, that's going to move the money around. So you're maybe not going to get all of it. But when you see that original number that they had to pay this man, best job in college football, and we'll get into the second best job in college football. Number one, getting fired. Number two, being the guy that might take the place of the guy that got fired. And the school you're with is afraid. What did you think of the move that they just decided to do it mid-season? Cut the cord. Their starting quarterback and a Heisman hopeful before the season started, season-ending injury. So they're just throwing a whole new team out basically without their head coach now, without their starting quarterback. Troubled times in Penn State, but also for some happy times.
Yeah, I think the decision at the end of the day was right by the administration. Listen, you can't lose to UCLA if you're in the Big Ten, if you're a Penn State type, if you're an Ohio State type. Then you double up and you lose to Northwestern. You can't do that. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, and what your record is. I thought they would think about keeping him for the season because it's just like, well, where else do we go from here, right? Like we bring in an interim and the team maybe gets 1 or 2 wins just off of that bump. But, I think about the job, and it's a tough job, John.
Yeah.
Listen, I think you've been to that campus before, I'm assuming.
One time, and I was at the historic 6-4 loss to Iowa years ago when Zach Mills was the quarterback. My one college football game there, and they scored a combined 10 points.
Yeah, that's the most John Lund game of all time.
That's every year on the anniversary, it's on Twitter like, remember this epic game? Yeah, I remember people like calling for Zach Mills to get dragged from his feet out of the stadium because he couldn't complete a pass. It was great. Great time.
So it's a tough place because 1, it's in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
2, it gets cold. 3, you're competing against other schools like Ohio State. And now USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington. I mean, it's a tough place to recruit to. So finding success there, obviously it's a blue-blooded traditional program, but it's tougher than people think. They have a boatload of money. Obviously, they have shown this week that they could just say, hey, $55 million, boom, take it out. You're good to go, brother. See you later. We're building this brand new stadium too, or adding on to Beaver Stadium. So the money is not the problem there, right? Compared to so many other programs, but it's still a very tough place. The hardest thing about Penn State is their expectations.
Yeah.
They have not won a national championship since 1986.
Right.
Okay, 1986. And the expectation from there every single year is we should be winning a national championship. So the question is, it's not even just necessarily for Penn State, but it's for every single college football program. How high is the ceiling and what is the realistic expectation of this team?
Right.
Then you look at a program like you just brought up, the second best job to have is the guy who might be replacing the fired head coach is Indiana. And paying Signetti so much money, who I think he deserves it. What was it? 8-year, $11 million extension a year. I mean, it's incredible. And he fully deserves that. I mean,
the number I believe was 93 million. And then the bullet point of if he is bought out at any point, they will pay the full buyout price. Shout out to that agent, man. Way to put that into writing.
I think it's Jimmy Sexton who is just like, wow.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. So that's the other side of it too. But now at Indiana, I asked the same question. What is the expectation? Is it realistic? Right. Is Indiana, this is crazy I'm saying this out loud, and I know what I'm about to say. Is Indiana expected to be in the college football playoff semifinals every single year? If you told me I said this out loud on October 17th, 2025, 2 years ago, I would have checked myself into rehab. Yeah. Because that's just wild. But because of the portal, because of NIL, things like this happen. I mean, this is a Disney Channel movie, John. This
Yeah.
is. And shout out to him. I think he's done a great job. I love him as just a media person, just hearing sound bites. He just gives us so much stuff. Coach Signetti. So yeah, what is the realistic expectation for college football head coaches going forward? Because the expectation at Penn State was way too high for James Franklin, and he got fired. So what is the realistic expectation for these coaches who are getting massive contracts, massive buyouts? What is the expectation? I think that's the biggest question we need to ask.
And it's a crazy risk for Penn State to do this, even though people have been waiting for it for years now. James Franklin can't win the big game. We know the narratives that are surrounding them, but there's the other side of the coin of, not to say that there's not great football coaches out there, and these young guys like we've talked about, or like we've seen at Arizona State, that can take over a program, motivate these kids, have the NIL part of it figured out, hire the right people around you to build the programs into successful ones. We're not saying that you have to be a longer tenured coach. Nobody else could take the job of James Franklin and take Penn State to the next level. But there's the risk of, despite not winning those quote unquote big games, I mean, just thinking about where they were this season in general against Oregon, taking a lead in overtime, to where they were last year playing in the college football playoff on the precipice of playing for a national championship. And in the blink of an eye, it's all over. How quick everything just ended. Now there's obviously a big resume behind that, but the risk is, are you going to be clamoring for the James Franklin days if the new guy comes in and it's 7, 8, 9 wins for the next 5, 6 years, and you would like to have gotten to that 10 or 11 spot? And again, as we've been saying on this show now, because of the new age of college football, you're basically just playing to get into the dance.
Yeah.
Once you get in there, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows where the bracket's going to have you located and whatnot? I have a hard time believing that James Franklin isn't going to get you into that spot in a normal season once things get figured out. I understand why they did it. I understand the fan base looking for another chapter and trying to take advantage of this new college football landscape when the CFP might improve to 14 teams, or God knows how far we'll get up to that number. So things are going to change, and maybe somebody can be the perfect person to have that change happen. But there also could be some buyer's remorse with wanting this dude out of there, and the grass isn't always greener, as we know in college football.
No doubt. And, the other side of it too, John, is like he has done a excellent job. And we talk about this a lot for the West Coast teams, especially USC and UCLA, like winning in state when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah.
He has done that at Penn State, and he's taken kids from Philadelphia. He's taken kids from Jersey, that whole region, right? Because, as two people from the Northeast, Penn State is our team.
That's
they are.
The school.
That's the school. It's pretty much the only one. Like, I don't know. I guess a close second, not even a close second, a far second is either Syracuse or Rutgers.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where to even stack those up.
I mean, Fran Brown's changing things, but nobody's ever grown up going, oh man, I can't wait to play for Syracuse at the time, Carrier Dome.
Yes, but keep Fran Brown's name in mind, because when we talk about replacements, I want to bring his name up.
Sure.
But Penn State is that team. You got to think about the guys he's also developed too. I mean, Saquon Barkley. We're going to see what happens with Abdul Carter in the NFL, but it's trending pretty well. Yeah. Franklin knew what he was doing there. He's a Pennsylvania guy. He cares about the actual university. Man, they really had to think a lot and hard about this decision, because it's just like, man, now we're taking a risk again. If it's hard to find that type of person in college football who could handle all of those things. I mean, it's a lot, but on paper, it does make a ton of sense if they had to just let him go. I mean, again, if a team loses to UCLA, that's one thing. Hey, it happens in college football sometimes, but you're coming off of that Oregon loss. Okay, now you got the administration thinking, all right, the kid's not really playing hard for you, man, or they're not taking you serious. And then you lose to Northwestern. Shout out to the nerds in the Midwest. Like, I love the way that they've played football since their whole situation with Fitzgerald. They are tough-nosed kids, and they will stay in games. Also, I know they're building a new stadium there, but I love that lakefront stadium.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's so beautiful and glorious. So shout out to them. They need to get a lot of credit there too. Shout out to UCLA, because they need to get credit too for beating these 5-star athletes who are on the team on Penn State. But man, it just thinks about the future. It's like, who else is really out there? I mean, I don't know. You're going to have to swing for the fences, but obviously Cignetti is gone. Locked him up. He's good to go in Indiana and Bloomington for the foreseeable future. I think 2033.
Yeah.
When they said that year yesterday, I was like, 2033? What? Like, we're going into the 30s?
Is well past retirement age in his 70s at that point. He hit the lottery like few have ever hit the lottery.
In Bloomington, Indiana, like, man, you're stacking up out there. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting going forward for Penn State. This happens, I guess. I think it could be a good reset for them. But, again, I don't know. Right now, there's so many names being thrown out there. We're getting the massive coach talk from, like, Matt Rule, Alex Golish. Yeah, I'm focused on my team right now. That's the only thing in my mind. Bullshit.
The algorithm was full on the day after of like seemingly every coach in college football having to answer the question of the press of, well, this big job opened up. What do you think, coach? You sticking around? You going to try talking about it? They all gave their coach speak answers to appease the reporters. But it's just amazing when this happens in college football to a big program like that and how it just shakes up the world of who's going next. We have to know. Immediately the articles come out. Top 10 replacements. Who would be the best fit? It's just crazy how fast time moves in college football when you just take a step back and think like where this program was a handful of weeks ago, where things are looking great. We're going to beat Oregon at the whiteout game. We finally figured the offense out. They finally started doing stuff in the second half. And now it's, wow, some of the worst losses in recent years, and we just had to let our head coach go. College football takes no prisoners.
Sitting next to Saban in the full Nittany Lion outfit. I mean, it's just crazy where it could go. But you know what?
And he's going to game day again this weekend. Supposedly he's going to make an appearance. Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him. You know, I think good for him. And I love that, like, kind of like college football coaches are not as robotic as they were in the past.
Right.
You know, I love seeing personality out of these people. I mean, if I'm him, I'm taking a year off and chilling. But I don't know. I don't know, because there are some good jobs open, right? This is the biggest carousel that we might see in the next 2 or 3 years, maybe even 5 years. We didn't have too many last year, so it kind of makes sense that we're going in this rotation of a bigger rotation this year of coaches getting fired. So, okay, but man, there are some really good jobs, and more jobs are definitely going to open up this weekend. I think Florida could totally open up this weekend.
Yeah, the rumors were win or lose this weekend might be it for Billy Napier, which, I mean, how long has that been rumor going around now where this is his last game, a must win for a couple of years, it seems.
They're on the other side of Penn State where we're like, hey, we're not giving up on you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to try to keep going. How's that worked out? Don't know.
Right.
But if I'm James Franklin, the only job, and it's not sexy on paper because they just traditionally are not a powerhouse, but if you get the right guy in there, is UCLA. If you get the right guy at UCLA, you're in Southern California, you could get a ton of in-state players in there. You got the next brainiac in college football, Jerry Neuheisel, as your OC, who knows the area.
Oh, he's not the head coach. It seems like the way he's been.
Shout out to Tim Skipper. Tim Skipper needs to get more of his name, and we've said this, but he does, because he's done an excellent job there too. He's doing way more than just Jerry Neuheisel. But Jerry is, the sexy blonde, dude who's just like crushing it. And shout out to Jerry, he's the man. But I would think about UCLA. And if UCLA could back me up and say, hey man, we're actually going to bring our academic standards down, because that's been a problem there at UCLA for a very long time. We're going to really start recruiting Southern California and getting back to our roots. We're going to be able to get into Texas and maybe get into Florida. I don't know, but we'll see. That's the one job I would think about. But Franklin would be great as a media member. He would be awesome.
It's funny that James Franklin is only 53. I don't know why he just doesn't look that.
No,
it must be. It's like when you become president and you just look like you've gone through a 25-year evolution once you get out of the office. It's kind of how he's looked the last couple of weeks, having to deal with all these questions and the right to his face. Hey, you think you deserve to still be the head coach here? You think there's enough people here to turn things around?
Penn State.
It's just going to be fascinating to watch what they do. And it'll be fascinating to see too. Like, well, now they have to purposely throw in a new quarterback for this rest of the season now.
There's
been you don't know who to believe with all the rumors that swirl around these programs. Why was he actually fired? And then how much of his tentacles were still attached to this team in places where you thought they might not be? Is it the offense that he still wants to run, even though they brought in Andy Koltanicki? We saw how much fun he had at Kansas with Jalen Daniels and the backups and what they were able to do and revitalize what they were doing to score points. Well, has he been chained up and he hasn't been able to fully release what he wants to do offensively? Maybe we'll see that the rest of the season where he opens up the playbook with this new kid and who knows what's going to happen. It's just fascinating to watch this all play out. And you have Indiana as a top 5 team in college football in 2025. It's just the perfect storm for what happened over there where you beat Oregon and you beat them bad. It wasn't just you won on a last second field goal. It's Indiana is beating this team like this.
Yeah.
It's been crazy to see some of the results that have happened to this point. And we mentioned college football was going to be somewhat wide open this year for a lot of teams to take full of opportunities, and a lot of teams are. And we're seeing week to week, you have no idea what sometimes is going to happen in these games. Yeah, John Mateer decide, even with his thumb hanging on by a thread, I'm playing, and he played the whole game, and it didn't happen for them in that rivalry game. And it's just interesting every week what the dynamics end up being. And we're now entering another week where you look up and down the schedule for the top 25 matchups. We're talking on Friday. I mean, Louisville's going to Miami.
Tonight.
And you're thinking whether or not Mario Cristobal is going to have one of his boneheaded moments potentially against Jeff Brom, who somehow finds a way to win these inexplicable games that you don't expect Louisville to come and do. Maybe they go into Coral Gables and take a win from the number 2 team in the country, or cover the 13.5, which I would really like.
I love that.
It's just been a time where you think you know what's going to happen in college football, and you absolutely do not.
No, and that's why the sport this year has been amazing. That's why the parity of the sport has been great, because in years past we kind of know what happens until the midpoint of the season.
Yeah,
we know the top 10 teams, who they're going to be. They might not be in the same order, but we know who they are. And it's great for the sport because it was getting a little stale. It was. And when you have storylines like this, where again, Indiana, they have the most losses in Division I football history. And now they're the center of the college football universe.
Yeah.
Again, I brought this up, but it is a Disney Channel movie. I don't know who would play Signetti. Maybe Ben Affleck? Could you get Affleck as Signetti? And just him being such a jerk on the Zoom and be like, Google me. It'd be so great.
We need Ben Stiller to get back into one of his meta crazy characters.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Who would play Mendoza? Who would play Mendoza? Austin Butler.
They make the other side too. I mean, we already know who plays James Franklin already, so they just bring him out of the back like they've always been doing. Maybe they'll have Keegan-Michael Key run out
the
first home game like they like to do and pretend that he's their new head coach. They could have some fun.
That. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, it's crazy.
Wild.
Louisville, I think, has a better chance than people are giving them tonight. If they control the clock and run the ball well on this Miami team, which we have not seen a team really do all year. Miami has not been tested all year long.
No,
the Notre Dame game, yes, of course, but that's the first week of the season. Every team's going to kind of look weird. I don't know how we judge Notre Dame off of that. I don't even know how we judge Miami off of that just yet. But this is Miami's biggest test potentially until the ACC championship game. So you get one here, man. Louisville, that's awesome. And it's not. The thing is, Johnny, so many times that we talk about these games, we want to get people excited just to, hey, watch it. I don't know. I mean, every single week it has been changing like this. So I'm going into this game. I'm Miami should win. They have the better athletes. Defensive line is great. Offensive line is great. Carson Beck is playing at a Heisman level right now. But because of the nature of the beast in college football 2025, anything could actually happen on what we got football pretty much from Tuesday to Friday to Saturday now. So everything can happen during the week. So it's going to be a hell of a game tonight. I'm really excited.
Crazy things happen under the Friday night lights. You
They
knew
do.
that from playing just in high school, but when you add the college aspect to it, you never know what's going to go wrong for a team that's expected to win, where a fumble or an interception completely switches the game, a muffed punt. There's crazy things that could happen to benefit
100%.
Louisville and just completely turn that game around. Some of the games coming up in week 8 that have the numbers by them that people always care about. I mean, pick your poison.
Ranked. Yeah.
LSU's going to Vanderbilt. Georgia Tech's going to Duke, which is a big game in the ACC with Georgia Tech still unbeaten. Oklahoma's trying to rebound by going to South Carolina. Ohio State's playing Wisconsin, which people will care about, that are huge fan bases of those teams. But then the SEC has a 5-9 game in Ole Miss and Georgia. Texas Tech and Arizona State, a huge Big 12 matchup. It's just up and down the board. Tennessee trying to win in Alabama, an 11-6 matchup. I think I heard they haven't won in Tuscaloosa, Tennessee, that is, in 20-plus years now.
Yes, it's true.
So they're trying to end that streak. We have the USC Notre Dame game happening now and not at the end of the season, as Notre Dame tries to win that game and I don't want to say clinch their college football playoff berth, but based on their schedule, you'd think this is their toughest game that they have to win in order for that to happen.
Win.
Utah, BYU, that
Holy
battle
war,
is going
baby.
to happen if the Big 12. I mean, we're at the point now of the season where you're getting those everybody on their soapbox on Saturdays making fun of people for having to go to weddings or apple picking or pumpkin picking and spending time with their family and actually being a decent human being instead of sitting on your couch for 14 plus hours, not actually being at the games or not working in college football. Go to weddings, folks. If you're invited, it'll be okay. Watch the games on your phones. That's enough of that rant. But what are you looking forward to as we head into week 8 here, the halfway point in the season, trying to really figure these teams out?
Yeah, I all of them are going to be awesome. I think this is the first time Vanderbilt is favored against LSU since like some crazy year.
Yeah, I think Barstool put out 1978, and it's the first time they've been favored in something like that. And then that was refuted that it's nowhere near that. But we'll just say it's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
The actual date is, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. That should be a great game. Nussmeier, I think he's hurt. He's just not playing the way that he should be. Looking a little timid out there. So this is going to be a great test for them. And Vandy obviously is just fun. The Holy War is going to be a holy war. If you're not familiar with this rivalry between Utah and BYU, when I mean these two teams actually like legitimately physically hate each other, they do. There's so many aspects to this unbelievable rivalry in the state of Utah. But the game I'm really going to be paying attention to is Notre Dame versus USC. This game is huge, not just for both programs, but it's huge for college football in general. If USC gets a win primetime against Notre Dame on the road, we could put them in the category of they're almost back. Yeah. And having USC being almost back for college football is at the same rate as Texas being back, as Miami being back, and also justifies bringing Lincoln Riley in. Yeah. So that game is huge for me there. The implications for the playoff, it's just a beautiful traditional game too that potentially could go away, which sucks because of what realignment has done. It's been great for so many things, but there are some blemishes when it comes to realignment because games like this can go away. We don't want that to happen. Like schedule makers, we talk about this all the time on this show, John. Like we've scheduled out to 2047.
Yeah.
You can figure out a way to get USC and Notre Dame to play every single year, right? Like we can. We got to preserve this game because it's so great. It's just a traditionalist game, color game. 20th anniversary of the Bush Push, Johnny. Like we need something like this. Like we need it every single year. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of October, late November. We need this game. So that probably has most of my attention this weekend.
No question. That's going to be circled on a lot of people's schedule for Saturday night, and then you get to end things with Utah, BYU.
Yeah,
it's just a great slate of football, and a lot of storylines again are going to get thrown around to see what's going to happen for the upcoming weeks moving forward and where teams stand. Like, I don't want to promote the Believe in Louisville podcast, which you could find on any of your feeds where you listen to your podcast. But
wait, Louisville, you got to get it right, Louisville.
Oh no, I say it perfectly now, Louisville. When as a Northeastern PA kid, it's Louisville up here, man. Yeah. I don't know what people are talking about with this Louisville. It just doesn't roll off the tongue quite as nicely as Louisville does for us. But I have it perfect. Yeah. I haven't flubbed it up one time on the Believe in Louisville podcast. But for them, it's if you lose this game, now it's we're not going to make the ACC championship. What's the motivation to keep killing ourselves week by week? Like, how much a game like that changes your season where you win it. Now you have the potential to maybe slip into the top 25. Your goals are still all out there for you. You just had one of the biggest wins in the school's last couple decades. Like, it's crazy how these games just can completely throw the balance off, whether good or bad, for college football programs. And we're going to see a lot of that in week 8. The quick one to get you out of here for a toaster roast. I don't know if you saw that the commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark, made the decree for Texas Tech that tortillas being thrown onto the field after the debacle with Kansas of people getting hit by them. There was this pocket knife controversy that they found on the sidelines where like Zapruder film found that it could have just been a Kansas coach purposely dropping it on the sideline and then bringing the officials over like, oh, somebody threw this knife at me. And then they have like zoomed in footage of this dude just taking out of his pocket and throwing it down on the ground. Just wild to try to get an upper hand there. Lance Leipold going after the Big 12 after the game. Joey McGuire, him on the field yelling at each other. Oh, man, it was wild last week. But the Big 12 commissioner basically said, like, hey, you want to throw the tortillas out like you do before kickoff and keep that tradition going, you get a warning over the broadcast system. All right. If you do it again, 15-yard penalty, $100,000 fine for the school. If there's tortillas thrown during the game and it enters into like whatever the areas are that they're not allowed to have the tortillas in, especially against the opponent and on their sideline. They're cracking down on the tortilla toss, a tradition unlike any other at Texas Tech. Slow week, I guess, to the Big 12. Also, shout out to the Big 12 taking a little dig at Brent Venables on the old Twitter machine earlier in the week when he just like didn't even think of what he was saying really at his press conference, and a throwaway line of like, this isn't like when Oklahoma was in the Big 12 and we used to bum rush teams and had only one hard game a season, to which the Big 12 said, well, Brent didn't do very well the last couple of years in the conference. And people were furious on either side. Or you could have just enjoyed it like I did. Some 19-year-old kid running the social media had a little fun, and it's completely uprooted college football, which tends to happen in this world. So Toaster Roast, this crackdown now on the tortilla toss at Texas Tech. If they throw them at the wrong time, a 15-yard penalty and $100,000 fine, and then it only keeps going up from there.
Going up and up and up.
You got to watch when you're tossing your tortillas. Throw it on the scoreboard when it's time to toss them.
Yeah, they're still going to throw the tortillas.
They're still going to
throw it. They're still like, no matter what.
The problem was like it wasn't just coming from the student section. Like it comes from the whole stadium, like alumni, and like it's just the luxury boxes are tossing them out. I think they just wanted to like contain it to one section of the stadium and like one point of the fan base, not like everybody gets them when they walk into the building, and it's just unleashed like those stuffed animal tosses at the hockey games to raise money. Like we can't have that necessarily happen. So I think they'll be able to figure it out, and like you could still throw them. There's just like the moment to throw them.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've said this a lot in this podcast. The Big 12 is the conference of chaos on and off the field now. Okay, Brett, I have a better idea. Why don't we, instead of $100,000 fine, it's $100,000 donation to a local food bank, and you replace that fine, all the tortillas that are now not usable because there's turf beads and sweat and apparently pocket knives involved. You replace that. But again, I don't know. This is a tradition. They're not going to stop doing it. Speaking of other amazing fan bases in the Big 12, obviously Oklahoma State's had a real rough year. but those fans are amazing. You saw what happened
The
with
shirtless
the
fans
shirt.
that conglomerated to that.
Dude, that's
section.
what college football is all about. That's what
Beautiful.
it's all about. I mean, I don't know. I felt like a connection to that. I was like, that's beautiful. Like, this team sucks. They fired Gundy. You're in the middle of Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's hot, dude. But you know what? We're still fans. So shout out to the Big Ten. I'm toasting to the Big 12 craziness fans. And there's still going to be tortillas on that field. Doesn't matter.
It's a beautiful game. Find a salsa sponsor or Chi-Chi's, whoever makes the tortillas, and it'll be okay. That'll do it for us, the Sick Media Coast to Coast College Football Show. I'm at London Bridge on Twitter. He's at Dan Lynch Sports, SPURTS. We're at SickPod CFB. You can find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Let's go have a burrito, Dan. I think that's a good way to have.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Coast to Coast College Football on YouTube, X, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.